are so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Friday. I apologize for not coming with the show yesterday. I was doing some work on this here apparatus I got going on, and it was not up and running until way late, and I just decided to go ahead and just skip it. I finally finished up it was after midnight, so I was like, well, you know what, I'll run them all into one episode. So we'll get into it. But this is the Friggin Farm Ranch Report for Thursday, April 30th, and now Friday, May 1st, 2026. We got let's see, three things happened mostly while we were off. So first things first, the House did pass the Farm Bill H.R. 7567 on Thursday afternoon. It passed 224 to 200. And on the floor, the Pesticide Preemption Luna Amendment 28 got struck from the bill, and that was passed 280 to 142. This thing we've been tracking for 3 weeks is out. Bayer and the chemical lobby ate a huge bipartisan beatdown on that one. The E15 year-round amendment got pulled to a standalone floor vote on May 13th. Secondly, the UAE officially exited OPEC and OPEC Plus effective today. It's the first time in OPEC history a top three exporter has walked, and global market share dropped below 30% for OPEC. But here's the kicker. Oil barely moved on the news because the Hormuz is still effectively closed. UAE can't flood the market from a strait if it can't ship it through. And then three, Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller fired off an alert this morning. New World Screwworm confirmed in Nuevo Leon, Mexico, about 62 miles from the Texas border, closer than Wednesday's read. So Sid is calling it a national emergency. And then while all of that was happening, cash cattle traded a 5-area weekly average of 254.58 on 24,289 head on Thursday, with a late cleanup trade pushing 256 live and 405 dressed. The record that we set on last Friday at 248.38 is long gone. New record by $6 and change in a week. So we've got a lot to go through today. So let's go ahead and buckle up. I don't know what happened with my slideshow again, but we'll let me see if I can. Let me see what we got here. They really only give me 3 slides? No, they did not. All right, so I got to put a new slideshow up. So while we're working on that, let me tell you about our friends over at Lone Star Stockyards. Where are we at? I am not very organized today, but don't worry. This thing, my whole workflow process is about to get so much smoother. But Lone Star Stockyards, they're over in Wildorado, Texas. You can find them at LoneStarStockyards.com. They got a sale every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time. We got a Mexican food truck parked outside with a bunch of delicious food. So come hungry and bid on those cattle on a full belly. You got any sort of questions over there, give Bill a holler. He's the owner, Bill Martin, 970-302-5834. Sheldon Field is the yard manager, 806-736-0040. And the office is 806-677-0777. They do have the Texas Angus Association feeder calf sale coming up on Tuesday, May 5th. So be sure to check that out and make sure you support them. Let them know you heard about all of this on the Friggin Farm and Ranch Report over here on Burning Daylight. Okay, now to get my news slideshow up here. But also while you're at it, head over to all my social medias, whatever your favorite platform is: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble. All of that is go follow me on that. I'm the Burning Daylight podcast, or the handle is usually at Move Your Ass or at Burning Daylight. But search me up, search my name, you'll find it. And the most important one of them all is is the Substack. So burningdaylight.substack.com. There we go. Now we got a fresh new slideshow. But anyway, check that over there. You got all the good information that comes with this and more, all the sources and everything, and a little more in-depth breakdown. Plus, you'll get access to all the apps that I'm creating, including the Burning Daylight Report, which I use to generate this show. And then A Man About a Horse, which is my equine intelligence app. And I do have some picks for you on the Derby tomorrow. We'll get to that here a little bit later. But let's get into everything. We got a packed show today. So is that the right slide? All right. Slide number 4. Get myself adjusted over here. Boom. All right. So on the market flash, on the cattle complex, June live cattle for Thursday were closed out at $254. That was down $1.25. Friday closed out at $252.75. So call it about $1.25 give back. 2 days net minus $250. August live cattle on Thursday, they were $249.725. That was up 62.5 cents. And then today, $248.67. That was down $1.05. Fridays, the 2-day net minus of 42.5 cents. Board took a little bit of a breather on both sessions while the cash did the heavy lifting. May feeders for Thursday was $372.65. That was up $1.15. Today, $372.475. So pretty much flat, about 20 cents down, but pretty much flat. August feeders are choppy on both sides at $372.50, and the CME feeder cash index at $372.47. The cash cattle is where the real story is. The 5 area weekly average is $254.58 on 24,289 head on Thursday. A total negotiated volume of 13,320 head. Late cleanup on Friday is 256 live and 405 dressed. New all-time record. It's up 620 from last Friday's old record. I was listening to Corbett Wall last night, and he was saying that all of these big cattle, so the 256 was the all-time record. All that happened on a Tuesday. And all those cattle were slated to kill this week. So that's why the bid was so high, because they still had to buy cattle for next week. So it's a good week for the cash cattle market. June lean hogs for Thursday, it was at 102.27. That was down $1.47. Friday closed out at 101.275. That was down another dollar. 2-day net minus of 247. The hogs just got worked. On the grains, May corn for Thursday was at 464 3/4. That was down 1 3/4. For today, closed out at 463 and a quarter, down another 1.25. May soybeans at 1182 both days, pretty much flat. Still kind of in the holding pattern, waiting on that China summit. Chicago wheat for May on Thursday. This is pay attention one. 623 and 3/4. That was down 18.5 cents. Kansas City hard red winter followed the slide. Wednesday's drought rally on wheat got profit taken pretty hard on Thursday. So there's a lesson there that one weather narrative does not lock a market. On the energy side, this is an even bigger reversal. So Thursday, West Texas June contract was at 105.07. That was down $1.81. And then today, 101.99, down 308. So it's a 2-day net minus of 489. The Hormuz panic premium that ran us from 96 to 107.68 on Wednesday is almost entirely gone in 48 hours. Friday, the Brent index is at 107.27. Diesel is wobbling. We had it locked at 546 on Wednesday. The Hormuz premium peeled off, so expect retail diesel to slide a few cents this week if that West Texas number holds under 103 a barrel. So I would still say be looking at your diesel. I don't know what's happening, what's going to happen over there on that end, but we'll get into it a little bit more. On the macro side, the 10-year Treasury on Friday, 4.366%. The 2 years at 3.88, and the dollar index is at 99.12. Bid hard. Jerome Powell signaled a hawkish handoff for the Federal Reserve on Wednesday. Incoming chair Kevin Warsh, wash your hands, takes over on May 15th. And the desk read is that he'll target the energy-driven inflation more aggressively than Powell did. The dollar bid is putting pressure on commodities, and that's part of why the wheat and crude rallies did not hold. June gold for Friday, 46.05.90. That was down $23.70. June silver Friday is 75.495. Cattle on feed April report is a feedlot inventory of 11.6 million head. That's 1% below April last year, and the tightest April since the run started. Okay, let's get into today's top story, though. We've been talking a lot on the cattle side of things, but what the hell? Where's my main story? I don't know where it's at. All right. So anyway, on Thursday, April 30th, the House passed the Farm Food and National Security Act of 2026. That's House Resolution or HR 7567 by a vote of 224 to 200. 14 Democrats voted yes, and 3 Republicans voted no. So you had bipartisan, somewhat consensus. Not consensus, but you had some bipartisan overlap on both sides of the voting. But the headline itself isn't the passage, it's what came out of the bill on the floor. The Luna Amendment, number 28, that was the pesticide preemption strike vote. The amendment was to remove the language that would have shielded Bayer, Syngenta, BASF, and the whole chemical lobby from state-level failure to warn lawsuits over Roundup, atrazine, and paraquat, and all of it, essentially. So the motion to strike passed 280 to 147. It was a rout on a bipartisan level, and that language is out of the bill. So these pesticide companies, when and if this farm bill passes and this goes into law, they will no longer be shielded from these state level failure to warn lawsuits. So meaning that depending on how the Supreme Court rules on this in June, we could see Bayer's stock just absolutely crater. Bayer is reportedly weighing a $7.25 billion settlement to resolve the current and future non-Hodgkin lymphoma claims, contingent on the Supreme Court ruling in Monsanto v. Durnell that we heard oral arguments for on Monday. Class members would have until June 4th to opt out. If the SCOTUS rules for the plaintiff Durnell, state juries may stay free to hold the chemical companies liable, and that 7.25 billion probably balloons pretty considerably. Bayer's stock got crushed Tuesday on the orals, and Thursday's House vote does not help that number at all. The E15 year-round mandate got pulled out of the Farm Bill entirely and scheduled for a standalone floor vote on May 13th. Corn growers and the renewable fuels lobby wanted it stapled to the Farm Bill so it'd ride right through. They lost that procedural fight, and the standalone vote is in 12 days. And then one more amendment to flag. Well, I guess two. The horse slaughter amendment did not make it in, so horse slaughter is not official, at least not any more than it already is. So that's a good sign. And then the Crawford amendment, number 8, Crawford 8, is the hot rotisserie chicken becomes SNAP eligible. So that passed 84 to 35. I don't hate that one at all. There's always a big argument about welfare queens and whether that's an actual thing or not. I tend to believe that it is, but also I tend to agree with some of the lefties when they talk about how the Republicans will use it as a political whooping stick. It's a wedge issue, of course. But that being said, a rotisserie chicken, hot rotisserie chicken, is completely different than Mountain Dew and cigarettes and whatever else. So being able to buy a rotisserie chicken with your food stamps, I think that's a good deal. It's a perfectly healthy meal, and it's one of the cheapest options out there, has been for quite some time. And it, even as a beef guy, rotisserie chicken is quite delightful. So bipartisan agreement that prepared rotisserie chicken counts as food for food stamps. So that's okay. What this means for the producer at home is pesticide preemption being out of the Farm Bill is a producer side wins. This means if your kids get non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after a decade of glyphosate exposure, you keep your right to sue in a state court. It also means that the crop chemical input prices are likely going to go up medium term because the chemical companies just lost their cheapest insurance policy against liability claims. All right, so now we'll head over to the war reel. This is a pretty. So we got 5 fronts on this. Front 1, the UAE, the United Arab Emirates exits OPEC, effective today. So on Tuesday, April 28th, the UAE announced it was leaving OPEC and OPEC Plus to prioritize its own national interests and use its spare production capacity. So for the first time in OPEC's 65-year history, a top 3 exporter walked. The UAE leaving drops OPEC's global market share below 30% for the first time ever. And yet, and this is the part that tells the whole story, global oil prices barely moved. West Texas was down $5 since Wednesday. Why? It's because the Strait of Hormuz remains effectively closed. The UAE can announce all the spare capacity at once, but it can't ship that capacity out of a strait that's been mined and blockaded. Saudi Arabia and Russia have not publicly responded to this, and watch for OPEC Plus to schedule an emergency meeting next week. On the second front, it's the Hormuz tanker war. It's day 60 plus. The U.S. Navy has seized 3 Iranian-linked tankers, the Tiffany, the Tuska, and the Majestic X. Iran retaliated by diverting MSC Francesca and the Empanada, or whatever it is, to Bandar Abbas. U.S. estimates it could take up to 6 months to clear the suspected Iranian sea mines. War risk insurance for vessels transiting the strait has settled in at 2 to 6% of hull value, off the panic peak of 10%, but orders of magnitude above the pre-conflict of 0.25%. So on a $200 million tanker, that's still $4 to $12 million per transit. Front three, the White House correspondence dinner assassination attempt suspect has been identified. White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting April 25th. The subject is Cole Thomas Allen, 31, of Torrance, California. He was arraigned Monday in federal court in D.C., charged with attempted assassination of the president. FBI and Secret Service are investigating, and Secret Service is taking all sorts of heat from Congress and pretty much everyone. But officials testified they saw no indication of a security lapse. Investigation ongoing. The fact that a guy just sprinted past their security booth with a shotgun, like a full length shotgun, pretty fast, very fastly. But that's not a security lapse. No indication of a security lapse there. Nothing to see here. Okay, on the fourth front, the handoff at the Federal Reserve. Jerome Powell signaled a hawkish departure at the FOMC meeting. The committee voted 11-1 to leave rates at 3.5 to 3.75%, with 4 total dissents on the easing language. Incoming Chair Kevin Warsh, your hands, takes over May 15th. The read on the desk is that Warsh will... Where am I at? Damn it. Lost my place. Okay, here we go. We're getting there. Secretary or Chairman Warsh will target energy-driven inflation more aggressively, and the 9/12. And then on the fifth front, we have the Trump Xi Jinping summit confirmed for Beijing on May 14th and 15th. It's rescheduled from earlier in the spring after the Iran conflict. China previously committed to 25 million metric tons of U.S. soybean purchases annually for 26 and 27 and 28. Beef market access is the ag wedge, so watch for that as a deliverable. The U.S. Trade Representative was reportedly reluctant to bring a CEO delegation along to the summit. All right. On the screwworm front, Texas Ag Commissioner Sid Miller dropped an alert this morning, Friday, May 1st. The USDA confirmed that a New World screwworm case in Nuevo Leon, Mexico. It's 62 miles from the Texas border. That's closer than the Nuevo Leon detection on April 10th. We've been tracking. That one was about 80 miles south. So the parasites moved north 20 miles in 21 days. And U.S. APHIS has shifted sterile fly dispersal operations to a 50-mile polygon into Texas along the Tamaulipas border. They're not waiting for it to cross. They're flooding the zone now, which is probably a good idea. The new sterile fly facility that USDA broke ground on April 17th at Moore Air Base in Edinburgh, Texas. The initial operational capacity targeted at 100 million sterile flies per week by November 2027. That's the long-term answer, and right now we're running on the Panama facility output and whatever the new dispersal polygon delivers. So if you're a cow-calf operator in the on the Texas-Mexico border, in the lower Rio Grande Valley in South Texas brush country, start checking your cattle. Open wounds, nabbles on newborn calves, anywhere a screwworm can lay eggs. APHIS is hotline is supposed to be on the slide, but it is not. But I'll make sure and include that in the show notes. This is the closest the parasite has been to U.S. cattle since the eradication in 1966. Okay, so the SDRP deadline that we were hammering on this week. Well, you got a little bit of relief. Thursday was supposed to be the last day to file stage 1 and 2 paperwork on the 2023-2024 crop, tree, vine, and hay losses. USDA extended the deadline to August 12th, 2026. The why is, as of late April, USDA had paid out $6.7 billion of the $16 billion program. They had raised the stage 2 payment factor to 70%, and the application volume Thursday afternoon was apparently still heavy enough that the USDA blinked and gave producers another 14 weeks. But don't let that be a reason to sit on your paperwork. If you got a letter sitting on your table, sign it and drop it off at the FSA. The money is moving, and the program is uncapped through August 12th. Producers who already filed before April 30th are ahead in the queue, but producers who waited still do have a window of opportunity there. All right, back to the sale barn. Okay, Superior Livestock, Thursday video sale, 23,000 head plus listed. The sale ran, but the final tallies and weighted averages have not posted publicly yet. Superior typically takes about 24 to 48 hours to publish full sales summaries. Watch the Western Ag Network and Drover's Wires Monday for the full breakdown. Pre-sale read going in, supplements added to push past 21,000 head. Beef on dairy crosses got headline interest. For comparable data, though, the Gulf Coast Classic on April 16th and 17th sold 57,077 head. Calves from Louisiana and Florida averaged $100 higher per hundredweight than it did last year. So we're going into Thursday's sale at a record demand benchmark. Western Video Market sales today, Friday, May 1st, running at Paso Robles Inn at Paso Robles, California. Started at 8 a.m. Pacific. Early lots are clearing 540 weight steers up to 502.50 100 and 615 pound steers at 457.50. Very strong prices. Country Barns to flag, and El Reno, OKC West, the Wednesday feeder run was at 6,500 head. The Tuesday calf and stocker run, steer calves up 10 to 15 bucks, stocker heifers up 15. 800 weight feeder steers average 37.66. The barn set 11 records and got the stick-out sale of the day. Lone Star feeders there in Lone Star Stockyards there in Wildorado. Earlier this month, 171 steers at 532 pounds brought $520 a hundred. 80 heifers at 400 pounds brought $530. Reputation cattle running $6 to $10 over the average. Torrington, Wyoming today, they set 21 steer barn records across 5 weight to 8 weight cattle, new highs all the way across. Producers Livestock in San Angelo on Thursday ran 657 head. Calves and yearlings steady to strong. Better quality 4 to 6 weight steers running 380 to 550, but mostly in that 420 to 480 range. 6 to 8 weight steers brought 330 to 440. Joplin Regional and Carthage, Missouri for the April 27th recap. Feeder steers and heifers unevenly $10 lower to $10 higher. But the light 4 weights up to $640 a hundredweight, and 6 weights up to 475 a hundred. Bassett Livestock in Nebraska, April sale data: 431 pound black heifer calves brought 371 a hundred. 397 black steer calves brought 484, and bred heifers are topping 38.50. Light calves are the new currency. Let's go to the horse market. Where are we at? Where are we at on the horses? I just want the horses. We'll get there. I don't know where the horse one is, but we'll stay right here for now. Okay. Billings Livestock on April 24th to 26th, their horse sale moved to 711 head. The top sale horse was at $30,000. 12 head broke the 20,000 mark, and the top draft cross sold for $22,500. A finished rope horse with a full rope and resume from from Kagan Pillars was highlighted. The Pitzer Ranch spring sale on April 25th in Erickson, Nebraska. Reben and Proven Genetics are getting strong money, and geldings out of Hollywood's Federale are getting heavy attention. And the Premier Horse Sales Ride the Wave sale, a horse named Garfield brought $350,000. The Heritage Place yearling sale prep is underway, and outfits like SLC Racing are pushing consignments sales later this year. And the Kentucky Derby is this weekend, and since I do like to put a little money on some sporting events, why not? I got a card for you. So the post time is at 6:57 p.m. Eastern at Churchill Downs. 20 horses in the gate, and I've got 4 plays that I really like. First bet is Commandment to win. He's at post 6 at 6-1 odds. I'm putting 2 units, $20 on that. Brad Cox's best shot at his first real Derby victory. Yeah, he's got Mandaloon on the books, but he's never actually seen his horse cross the line first. Commandment just won 4 straight, including the Florida Derby, where he ran down the Puma by a nose in a thriller. Half-brother to Renegade, the morning line favorite. Trained by a Louisville native who's bringing 3 horses to this race. Post 6 is clean. Luis Size is in the irons. This horse grinds, and if the pace sets up hot, he's closing late. Second, I got Puma to win at post 9 at 10-1. I'm putting $10 on that. Gustavo Delgado trains him, and Javier Castellano rides. This colt has faced all the top dogs, Renegade, Commandment, Further Ado, and Chief Wallace, and held his own every time. He actually beat Further Ado in the Tampa Bay Derby, then got caught by a nose in that Florida Derby photo finish. Post 9 is money for stalkers historically, and Castellano will get him a clean trip without burning too much ground on the far turn. The third bet is the Exacta box. Commandment, the Puma, Further Ado. 1 unit, $10. Further Ado is also Brad Cox, also 6-1. Drew the dreaded post 18, the only gate that's never produced a Derby winner. Posted a 106 Bayer in the blue grass, and the highest figure in the entire field, and won that race by 11 lengths. Some smart money guys are asking, how is this horse 8-1? Boxing these 3 covers the most likely top 2 scenario if the favorite Renegade stumbles. And finally, the long shot saver. So happy to win. Post 8 at 15-1. I'm putting $5 on that. Mark Glatt trains. Mike Smith rides. Hall of Fame jockey with multiple Derby wins. This horse just beat Bob Baffert's heavily favored Potente in Santa Anita Derby, and has been hammered with early money since the draw. At 15-1, it's a name you want in your back pocket if the chaos breaks loose. Okay. That's all I got on the Derby. Vet alert though. EHV1 neurologic confirmed in Culpeper County, Virginia on April 17th. A 42-horse quarantine at an event center. 21-year-old thoroughbred gelding was euthanized. Separate EHV1 quarantine in Burlington County, New Jersey on April 16th. So if you're hauling horses through the mid-Atlantic, check facility quarantine status before you load. Okay, we'll get on the drought monitor. Pretty ugly. Drought monitor was released on Thursday, and the High Plains expanded again. Western Kansas, Western Nebraska, Eastern Colorado, all deteriorating. Colorado topsoil moisture 95%, very short to short. I got it. Texas winter wheat, 56% poor to very poor, and Oklahoma is at 45% poor to very poor. Kansas State University released a wheat production model, a 31% drop in Kansas wheat production in 2026, dropping to 240 million bushels at 39.4 bushels per acre. This is the working number, but abandoned acres historically run at 8 to 10% under similar conditions. The CPC 6 to 10 day outlook for May 5th to 9th is below normal temps east of the Rockies, below normal precipitation in the upper Midwest, and the 8 to 14 day outlook from May 8th to 14th is extreme heat risk in the desert Southwest. We got some active fires to talk about. The Poetry Canyon fire has a little over 2,000 acres, 45% contained as of Thursday morning. Nebraska Governor Pillen is still pushing FEMA for the 30-day expansion on damage reporting. The state has until May 27th to comply. ECP applications open on April 27th for Nebraska producers with damage to fences, water systems, and farm and ranch land. Okay, on the rural business, United Healthcare and livestock theft. So the Rural Healthcare Chartist 2026 report, 417 rural hospitals vulnerable to closure. 41% of rural hospitals operating at a loss. Texas leads with 50 vulnerable hospitals, Kansas with 44, and Tennessee with 27. I'm going to say vulnerable again just to prove that I can. Vulnerable hospitals. United Healthcare following through on the April 20th announcement, by fall exempting roughly 1,500 rural hospitals from most prior authorization requirements, accelerating Medicare Advantage payments by up to 50% across 5 additional states, and federal side. On the federal side, CMS is pushing forward on the $50 billion rural health transformation program. On the livestock theft side of things, high prices and low herd numbers mean that theft is up, and departments of agriculture are pushing best practices, which means secure fencing, clear brands, and reporting missing unbranded animals fast. Colorado Senate passed SB 26-136 on April 8th, formalizing reporting protocol on lost or stolen livestock. And on the land side, the Mir Ranch Group closed a deal on April 8th. The Live Water Properties is the largest brokerage transaction ever. And the CSU Legends of Ranching Performance horse sale ran on April 18th. Monday, I'll get you some numbers on that. The federal grazing fee for 2026 is set at $1.69 per animal unit month, effective March 1st. Federal court on April 21st issued a preliminary injunction blocking federal directives that had restricted permitting for wind and solar projects on federal lands since mid-2025. Wind and solar are unfrozen again on federal land. Okay. Where are we at? All right. So, and then on the Packer watch, Cargill, Milwaukee, the ground beef plant closure date stands at May 31st with 221 jobs eliminated. It's part of Cargill's company-wide 5% workforce reduction following the Tyson, Nebraska closure and JBS, California closure on a 75-year low cattle herd. Milwaukee gets 4 more weeks. On the DOJ probe, nothing new there, but the Big Four are facing a criminal price-fixing probe. Hedger Edge, the Packer margin is running negative 231 per head as of late week, down from the negative 193 last Thursday. So Packers are paying 256 cash for cattle, and the cutouts at 387. The kill costs are eating them alive, and so either the cutout breaks higher next week or somebody's going to continue to slow the chains. On the bird flu footnote, APHIS federal order April 29th requires testing of lactating dairy cattle prior to interstate movement. There's been 71 human cases of the H5N1 since February 2024, with 41 dairies linked, 24 poultry, 41 of them dairy linked and 24 poultry linked. No new cases as of yesterday or today. Okay. Listener mailbag. The National FFA Scholarship winner notifications went out on April 23rd, and the Minnesota State FFA Convention ran April 20th to 21st. Reports calendar next week on Monday, May 1st. The DOJ Packer Probe weekly check will look in on that. The USDA NASS crop progress on Tuesday, May 5th. With the USDA NASS county estimates for corn, soybeans, and sorghum. Thursday, May 7th, we got the USDA Drought Monitor weekly export, the Drought Monitor and the weekly export sales. And then on Friday, the BLS jobs report for April, the standalone E15 floor vote scheduled for May 13th, and the Trump-Xi Jinping summit in Beijing on May 14th and 15th. If you got any questions, comments, send your mail, send your numbers, send in your sale barn results. I want to hear them. And yeah, that's all we got. So on the cash record, we hit that one big on the farm bill pass. That is a win. So kind of the breakout was extended. That's a partial hit, even though the futures is following the cash, however, reluctantly. We missed the wheat drought loss. That was a big drop off on that. So we missed that one pretty hard. We missed on the crude. So I expected it to go higher. I still expect it to go higher. The diesel lock is wobbly. Looks like prices we might see a little bit of relief, but still pretty tight. And then the SDRP deadline is extended. So, all right, let's close it out. On this day in history in 1931, May 1st, 1931, the Empire State Building opens in New York City. It's the tallest building in the world for 40 years. May 1st, 1707, the Act of Union takes place. The Kingdom of Great Britain formed from England, out of England and Scotland. May 1st, 2003, President George Bush's infamous Mission Accomplished speech aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln. He was wrong, spoiler alert. And then in 1886, on May 1st, the first May Day labor demonstrations in Chicago led to the Haymarket Affair a couple days later. Take some action. File your SDRP now before the August 12th deadline. Watch your Superior livestock sale results on Monday. And then if you're on the southern border, check your cattle for screwworm and be very vigilant. But hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the Derby. Enjoy your baseball. And hopefully you're sitting pretty after selling some calves. So on that note, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horse is kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Burning daylight. Well, life is just a gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning I'll tell the job's done right.